Canada is a huge country, spanning almost 10 million square kilometers to be exact, and yet visitors to this unique country usually stick to the same old tourist attractions, like the CN Tower, Niagara Falls, and Banff National Park, despite the fact that Canada is blessed with great geographical variety, from forest to desert. Hello everyone, Vanessa here. Welcome back to Passport Pages. In today's video, I'll be giving some unique bucket list inspiration with 10 very hidden Canadian gems. So let's get started. Number 10. Diefenbunker, Carp, Ontario. If you're ever in the Ottawa area, be sure to visit this incredibly fascinating museum, which was originally built in 1958 for government officials in the event of a nuclear attack, but as of 1998 is now home to Canada's Cold War Museum. Explore the 100,000 square feet yourself or take a guided tour of the bunker where you'll see all types of Cold War secrets and relive the experience of the Cold War era with 4 floors of living space underground. And it has the world's largest escape room, which takes place over an entire floor of the bunker. It's fun, interesting, educational, and most definitely a very underrated Canadian attraction. Number 9. Vulcan, Alberta. For all Star Trek fans, this town in Alberta is a definite must-visit. The town was named many decades before Star Trek existed, but has since capitalized on the coincidence. It has everything every Trekkie would want, from a replica of the Starship Enterprise to a sculpture of Spock himself. Even the information center is shaped like a spaceship. Visitors can participate in the Vulcan Space Adventure virtual reality game and try to visit during the annual Star Trek convention known as Spock Days. Drive around town and you'll see streetlights shaped like mini enterprises. So much fun. Number 8. Fairview Lawn Cemetery, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Have you ever wondered where the victims of the Titanic's sinking ended up? Well, look no further, because 121 victims are interred in this cemetery in Nova Scotia, more than any other cemetery in the world. Sadly, you'll find over a third of the gravestones are nameless, as many of the victims were never able to be identified. Some include a 1.5-year-old baby who perished with his entire family and was recently identified as Sidney Leslie Goodwin, as well as heroes like William Denton Cox, who was a steward of the ship and escorted third-class passengers to lifeboats while sacrificing his own life. Yes, it is a very sad and tragic spot to visit, but affords the opportunity to pay your respects to the victims of such a terrible tragedy. Number 7. Ahuetuke National Park, Nunavut. It's pretty surprising how overlooked this national park is, considering all that it offers, from hiking, skiing, and even dog sledding. The landscape is stark but stunning, offering visitors 85% rock and ice, with steep and rugged mountains, glaciers, and great rivers. It's a paradise for hikers and skiers, specifically at Akshayuk Pass, which is 60 miles or 97 kilometers, begins at sea level, and rises 1,378 feet to beautiful Summit Lake. Its most famous peaks are Mount Asgard and Mount Thor, with Thor featuring the greatest vertical drop in the world at 4,100 feet with an angle of only 15 degrees. Yes, this is a very remote national park, but beautiful and challenging, perfect for campers and climbers alike. Number 6. Manitoulin Island, Ontario. For an even more unique gem, head to Lake Huron, where you'll find the world's biggest freshwater island. Now this can be a little bit confusing, but follow me here. The island has 3 large lakes, Lake Manitou, Lake Kagawong, and Lake Mindamoya. And each of these 3 lakes in turn have islands within them. So islands in lakes on an island in a lake. Like I said, confusing, but very unique and beautiful, especially in the summer where you can ride the ferry, go boating, and hike picturesque trails sprinkled with waterfalls. Number 5. Burk's Falls, Ontario. Right in the middle of the Almaguin Highlands of Ontario is the beautiful riverside village of Burk's Falls. Surrounded by several lakes, you'll find many special activities, including Midlothian Castle, a massive and pretty frightening structure inspired by the Druids, with arches shaped like open mouths. The grounds contain fire-breathing dragons and even a creepy forest of tree-shaped sculptures. Hundreds of screaming concrete heads are placed throughout the property, including the top of the castle tower. You are free to roam the grounds, although you do need permission to enter the castle. Creepy castle aside, Berks Falls has plenty of pretty places to go for a walk and explore, including Richard Thomas Memorial Park, which is especially gorgeous in the fall. Number 4. Sucrerie de la Montagne, Quebec. For a sugary sweet winter wonderland, visit the top of Mont Rigaud, where you'll find this delicious maple syrup producer located in the midst of a 120-acre forest. And that's just the beginning. You'll be transported back in time as you see life as it was for Canadian pioneers. Stay in one of the many rustic log cabins and dine in the delicious wild game restaurant. Enjoy sleigh wagon rides, live music, and be sure to bring back many maple treats as souvenirs from this hidden winter gem. Number 3. Sable Island National Park Reserve, Nova Scotia. If beautiful, unique landscape filled with wildlife is appealing to you, then you're in luck, because there's no more perfect place in Canada than Sable Island, where you can't take a bad picture. This remote island is home to only 5 people, but 400 horses roam the island, as well as large colonies of birds, and seals swim along the shores as well, as it's the largest gray seal breeding ground in the world. It is estimated that the wreckage of an astonishing 350 shipwrecks also surrounds the island, giving it the nickname Graveyard of the Atlantic. These wrecks occurred as a result of the legendary gales that surround the island. The landscape is filled with windswept sand dunes, making for perfect pictures. Unfortunately, you will need permission from Parks Canada to visit, but it's worth it for this picture-perfect paradise with a very unique history. Number 2. Dinosaur Provincial Park, Alberta. Right in the heart of the Canadian Badlands, you'll find this UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is home to one of the richest dinosaur fossil deposits on Earth. 58 dinosaur species have been discovered here, with over 500 specimens removed. The Visitor Center features dinosaur exhibits, complete with theater, fossil prep lab area, and a gift shop. The ecosystem of the park is quite varied and includes prairie grasslands, badlands, and riverside cottonwoods. The wildlife is equally diverse and is home to mule deer, rattlesnakes, cottontail rabbits, and even some of the most northern species of cactus. You can participate in fossil digs as well as prospecting hikes, so don't miss out on this very fun adventure. And my number 1 pick, Athabasca Sand Dunes Provincial Park, Saskatchewan. Believe it or not, these sand dunes are in Canada, specifically in the province of Saskatchewan, along Lake Athabasca, although they look like something in an African desert. They are the most northern dunes on Earth, and some can get as high as 30 meters. The sand completely covers the underlying sandstone, and as such, it is home to very rare plant species not found anywhere else in the world. Collection of the plants is prohibited, although fishing, hiking, and ATV rides around the edges are allowed. The dunes are tucked between a lake and boreal forest and can only be accessed by float plane, but guided tours are available. Not many people visit or even know about this exotic mixture of water, sand, and trees right in the middle of Canada, which makes it our number 1 Canadian hidden gem. I hope this list has inspired you to explore Canada outside of the usual tourist hubs, because it really is one of the most geographically diverse and interesting nations on Earth. Thank you for subscribing if you haven't yet, and I can't wait to explore more of the world with you right here on Passport Pages.